So today we got the announcement that I had been talking about at the beginning of the XLM deep dive I did, which I will put in the description here. And we got that it unfortunately looks like it's not a whole lot on the surface, and that's kind of what everyone else is saying too. It's The comments here are pretty funny. It's the sort of thing that gets dreamt up in a lunchtime meeting of old telecom companies before they launch a new broadband tariff or something. Not what I would expect from them. Hope there's more. And I do want to talk about the fact that I think there may be more if you look at what Ripple and XRP have done recently as well. But first, let's just continue to talk through this announcement. Um, Crypto Mason also said that the announcement is out, and the announcement is that they partnered with an actor, which I guess isn't entirely true. The conversation here was actually interesting. It's not anything that we haven't heard before. It's concentrating on how products like XLM can provide more financial inclusion, bring access to money to a lot of people out there who do not have access right now, and how that can provide much more opportunity. And I 100% agree with all of that. Excuse me. I'm traveling right now, and I was up for 24 hours yesterday, and I'm just a little bit run down at the moment. But I 100% agree with that. But if that's all that this announcement is, then it is a rebrand, and it is rebranding around really putting it out there that they are 100% about um, remittances and cross border payments and financial inclusion, which I think is interesting. So that part of it, I think, is a little bit less obvious. I mean, it is obvious, but it the announcement was so overhyped, as it always is in crypto, unfortunately, that it just came off as super cheesy and cheap, in all honesty. So this is the conversation about financial inclusion and opportunity. But I don't really have anything to pull out of that. I think it's interesting, but you can go check that out too. So here's another tweet. I found out that it's actually sarcasm after I read more. What's massive about it? Absolutely nothing. Massive waste of 10 seconds. Um, I don't really know what people were expecting. I think I even kind of convinced myself that they might announce more partnerships or more something, but they did say up front in their first pre-announcement that it was about their brand itself. So unfortunately, it has hurt them. As you can see, since today, it is down. Let's see, we're down 5.2%, which isn't a huge deal. I mean, if that happened with Bit, Bit, Bitcoin, it would get a lot more attention. But the reality of it is, we went from 13 cents down to about 12 cents. It is still an interesting opportunity to acquire more, in my opinion, especially now. But what I really got to thinking about is how this kind of ties to how Ripple is rebranding ODL and XRP. Maybe, just maybe, this is the SDF's attempt to rebrand XLM to make it more appealing for more applications. I could be entirely off here. I'm probably being a little optimistic still, but Here's what I'm actually talking about. Um, Ripple is abandoning the ODL branding, and here's why. So the Ripple ODL guide on their site is not on there anymore. The address used to go to this page, um, but it doesn't have anything there like that now. It goes to payment by the numbers guide. The payment by numbers guide does not mention ODL one single time, but it makes it clear that XRP itself is the bridge that ODL was uh, being used as. ODL and XRP are not the exact same thing, but in for all intents and purposes, I always considered it that way. It was just another way of saying it, and it really added a lot of confusion to the space that didn't really help Ripple or XRP. But as I will talk about here, I think it might have had to do with the fact that XRP was still involved in a lawsuit um, questioning whether or not it was a security. So maybe they used ODL to refer to XRP in an indirect way in order to go out and market ODL, and which absolutely worked. So while you can still search for the ripple.com domain to ODL, it'll still say it has no reference to it, but goes back to that. Their last post talking about ODL was June 21st, 2023, shortly after XRP gained clarity. Are we witnessing the destruction of an ODL label, which is no longer needed since XRP has officially been declared to not be a security? XRP, the asset itself, is never a security. Sometimes there can be investment contracts that can make the XRP in those contracts a included in a security transaction, but XRP itself is not a security. So, according to the Ripple patent for ODL, it is a ambiguous label for a computing system that implements a cross-medium transaction service by leveraging the use of a digital currency. That really sounds like XRP and the XRPL, right? So it looks like it was a uh, legal construct to help them work around it, which is actually ingenious. They acquired the patent on February 21st of 2020. Did the award of this patent now mean that their primary currency and solution for ODL, which was XRP, then needed to go through the SEC gauntlet to separate Ripple from XRP as a non security? Does this patent mean that Ripple is the only entity that has been granted the right to use a digital currency and a digital ledger to facilitate cross medium transaction for any exchange of value, which just says commodities, uh, 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 other digital assets, bonds, and all that stuff, right? So he tagged a couple of the Ripple guys in there. Anders X found this from, I believe, SBI, talking about how they're expanding with Tranglo, which I'll talk a little about. The ODL, yes. So the last snapshot is from earlier this year. Excuse me again. I'm dying over here. Yeah, so I thought that that was an amazing insight and opinion and interpretation as to why not only Ripple rebranded ODL for XRP, but maybe how SDF did the same thing for XLM, and they're beginning to launch this in a much larger way. I put out a XLM deep deep dive. I just put out a an explanation of how Stronghold uses XLM and how they're both tied to Ripple and XRP as well. So it wouldn't necessarily surprise me for XLM to be going through a rebranding just as XRP has. So this entire thread is really interesting, but let's move on a little bit. So SBI remittances to begin with XRP in the Philippines, Vietnam, and Indonesia. Giant banks in Japan confirm that they will use XRP to settle from point A to point B, and that's on their official site. I did do a short video about that a few days ago. If you're interested more in that, I will put that in the description as well. If you look at the SBI site, they not only make this announcement, but they specifically say we will gradually start providing international remittance services with XRP to accounts in the Philippines, Vietnam, and Indonesia this month. Here's a little bit more. Ripple's MoneyTap payment system is popular in Japan with three banks adding support. Also, it refers to the SBI remittances over XRP as well. Here's the article. The SBI and Ripple partnership began in 2018. Three major banks. Let's have some fun and try to have me pronounce these. Yamaguchi Bank, Momiji Bank, and Kitakyushu Bank will now use the Ripple payment system. MoneyTap allows Japanese regional banks to offer a peer-to-peer remittance service over a mobile app. It offers a link to their account and a remittance service all over a app on a phone. There's also security as well. Ripple is facing a difficult legal challenge. I mean, the most important thing is that XRP is not a security. The only thing now is the some of the personal institutional kind of contracts that a couple of the guys had within the company at the start. But yeah, Ripple's technology, which is XRP, has been well received in Japan due to the company's partnership with SBI. So it's just amazing how everyone else in the world is eager to adopt more efficient things, but we are not, because it's not putting money in the right pockets of the right people who are friends with the right politicians. So we haven't really had a lot of XRP price action that has been unrelated to the events with the change in the price of Bitcoin. But it's an interesting opportunity to accumulate more as well. If anyone's interested in that, you do that at your own risk, because of course I'm not a financial advisor. I hope no one expects that. But yeah, I just thought that this was another really interesting example of being able to connect two things that don't seem connected at all. But if you understand all of the ties that all of these companies and partnerships and organizations have, they're all, well, not all, but XRP and XLM in particular are very connected.